Okay, so here we are back, and yeah, I hope you could solve this. Otherwise, also don't worry too much about this, we will do this now together. The task was overriding this method to always use 4 dices with the numbers between 1 and 3. Yes, this was the task. So let's see how we can apply this over here. The solution for this... Okay, to get to the solution, we need to figure out what we have done so far. So we have overridden the roll dice method. And here we are having these 2 parameters that's being passed to this method, and we are printing them out here and here. Then we are calling the original method, this roll dice, with these 2 parameters. And this one is returning the byte array, which is then being printed out. And so the point where we need to make our adjustment is in this line over here. Because here we are just printing out these values, but here we are calling the original method, and this is the point where we can influence the output. So the first parameter, let's figure out what this one was. If we go back, the first parameter is the pool size. This means the amount of dices. All right. Okay, if you want to manipulate this value, all we need to do is we could simply create a variable here just before this. Variable dice, for example, or dice number, and we can apply this value 4. But regarding to basic types like integer or strings, we can also directly apply these values statically over here. So we can simply write 4 in there, and then this function, this original function, will be always called with the parameter value 4. All right? Okay, so we can close or delete this one over here. Next, the task was to provide numbers between 1 and 3. And let's have a look. Here we have the phase number, and this number is being calculated in this next int. We need to figure out how this next int function works to apply this patch over here. I mean, in this case, we could also guess the value. For example, if we provide 2, 3, and 4, we can figure out what's the correct one. But that's not the approach we like to do. We like to understand everything what's going on over here, and then to precisely apply our patches. All right, now let's see what this random next int is doing. And therefore, I simply just searching for Java random.nextInt. And here we are having a documentation from Oracle. Let's see. We do not want to apply all these cookies. Okay, so here we are having the documentation from Oracle. Let's see. NextInt. There we have it. We have 2 nextInt functions. So this is an overloaded function. We can have nextInt without a parameter, and we can have nextInt with a parameter. Let's see. This one over here returns the next pseudorandom uniformly distributed int value from this random number generator sequence. Okay. Let's see if we are having a nextInt without a parameter. Nope, we are having nextInt with this integer parameter, therefore we can completely ignore what we have just read. Okay. Next, we've got this one with an integer parameter. Returns a pseudorandom uniformly distributed int value between 0 inclusive, that's important, and a specific value exclusive. This is even more important, drawn from this random number generator sequence. All right. This means if we go back into our original code over here, this one, if we would overwrite this phase number with a static value, let's do this on the paper to figure out what happens over here. All right? All right. I mean, you do not have a choice regarding to this one because I'm doing it anyway. So yeah, sorry for this one. Let's say we are overwriting now this value with the static value 3. And this means our phase num will be also 3, and this means we are having now the values from 0 up to 2, because this next int provides this random number generator sequence between 0 inclusive and this number exclusive. Okay, and this would mean our dice would return values between 0 and 2, and this is a little bit of a problem, I guess. Because I guess in my whole life I have never rolled a 0 on a dice. Okay, in my case I have, because I have already played around with runtime manipulation regarding to random number generators, but not in the real world. So this is not possible. And that's also what the author mentioned. Therefore, they're providing this +1 at the end. If we are now providing the number 3 into this one, we can see we are having this random number generator, which is returning a value between 0 and 2, but now we are adding +1 to the result of this one. This means in case we are returning back in 0, so in case if this one is 0, the result would be 1. In case if you're returning back in 2, the result would be 3. Maybe let's do it this way. I guess that's mathematically more correct. All right, and this is the value that's being put into this dice array over here. And this means if we want to have values between 1 and 3, we need to really apply the number 3 to this whole function. I mean, we could have also guessed this, but then we would have never figured out this edge case over here. And this can also bug us later on, if we are not completely familiar what this function is doing. Okay, fine. And therefore we have now our two values, and let's apply these patches. Okay, so let's clear the screen. And there we go. And then we go into this one. This is suddenly correct in this way, so this should work right now. Therefore, let's opening this application. It has been already gone once again. So let's open our screen copy. And let's also see if this application is still running. No? Okay, then we're opening it. Okay, roll dice. Yes, it's working regularly. We can also increase this. Yes, it's still working. Okay, now let's hook into this process and apply our patch. So I'm opening a new terminal. So we are using Frida -u. Alrighty. Then we copy paste our script over here into this one. And then we hit the enter button. And then we should have applied our patch. And let's see. So no matter what we are selecting right now, it should be overwritten with 4 and 3. But we are also printing out the original parameters, which has been inserted before, which is also, I mean, this is freaking amazing, right? We can observe this whole method and override and manipulate it in this way. I find this absolutely amazing. But first, maybe let's see if it's really working. So roll dice. There we go. The original parameter was 1 was 6, 2 was 5, but we are only returning these values over here. And it seems to work no matter what we select. Yes, we are always returning this function. These values. These 4 dices and values 1 and 3. Nice. But it even gets better. Because the most amazing part about Frida is that we can dynamically change this code. So let's say we are bored of these values over here, and then we can take this one over here, and then let's say we want to have 5 and 6. We can copy paste this code directly into this console over here, where we have placed our first script. And now Frida is hooked into this method once again and has overwritten it with these values right now. So this can be dynamically being adjusted. If we now click roll dice, and then we can see, yes, we are now having 5 dices with the values 1 and 6. This is the most amazing part about Frida, because if you are debugging some stuff, you need to attach, and if you want to change some things, you need to detach from the debugger, attach it once again, and stuff like this. In Frida, we can do this hot plug. We can directly patch this application in our terminal over here. And if we want to use this whole script, then all we need to do is the following. Let's say we do not want to copy paste this all the time in there. We can also start this Frida interaction with this script we have saved in here. So this script is located in apps and then privacy friendly Dize. And now we are using the same Frida command regarding to -u, make a connection via ADB into this application process. Maybe let's see. Okay, now we are having back the original method after detaching Frida. And now, if we do not want to copy paste this, we can simply use -l and then provide the script name. Now Frida is loading this whole stuff and overriding it with the script defined in here. If we click roll the dice, we can see, yes, our script is active once again, and we have overwritten it once again. And now we can, for example, keep this here, and we can apply our patches over here. I also keep this in foreground. There we go. For example, 2, then I simply save the script, and it's automatically being applied to this process. So if we click roll the dice, we can see we are having 2 dices. Nice. Frida, absolutely amazing. And this is how we can manipulate those values. I mean, we can also write a whole JavaScript which takes our parameters in some kind of form and apply it to this function over here. And we will do this later on, because this is the way on how to write a trainer with Frida. We will do this in the SpacePing application, and we will simply write our Frida scripts that we can toggle on and off certain features. Be invisible, invincible, have multiple shots, have a shield, stuff like this. Alrighty, in the next section we will learn more about this overload function, and afterwards we will also learn how to manipulate this return value over here by providing a byte array. Therefore, I'm really looking forward to see you in the next section.